Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to call to order the Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting. Is Tuesday, February the 13th, and it is 5:30. Call the roll, please.
Chairman James.
Here.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Here.
Board Member Brandemart.
Here.
Board Member Grace.
Here.
Board Member Salvino.
Here.
Executive Director Williams.
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro.
Here.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments. We have one. Is this Cray?
Yeah.
Come on, Cray.
WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
I posted a video about the little boy wrestling. Did you see it? How are you?
All right, so I guess for the record, my name is Craig Valentine, 1982 Tiger Tail Boulevard, Florida. So nice to see everybody again. Last month's meeting, so quick update on how we're doing. This is a CRA for the community. Our hot sauce and everything for our wrestling school, our workout supplements, are doing very well. How we can from the CRA, how we take part in intern program. Hiring some interns doing good jobs with the city.
Thank you.
We are having been for the city, so with everybody poster. Yes. You're getting in the ring. Hulk Hogan's Micro Championship Wrestling is coming on February 24th for our school. So, posted with you, I'll be here for the business members meeting on Thursday. But this is no charge. It's community, posting it. We want to give to the community. This is for them. And then on March 25th, spot for guest referee, Derek graduated first class wrestlers. Matt Stryker was here from World Wrestling Team last night, overseeing the girls. So we'll be scouts over on World Wrestling Team.
Okay.
It's going to look forward to festival. We got to move there. We're just going to do more with the city.
Can I ask you a question? Can you send me those in PDF form so I can share them with my social media?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you guys the hard copies as well.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Dan's not here. I'm actually going to leave hot sauce for you guys.
I don't want any hot sauce.
Just leave it.
I'll leave it. I'll
make
but,
them addition. We'll put it on it. Oh.
So, but
I'm
I'll
not
send, I'll
eating
send
that.
everybody the PDF of shows, anything else. Does the city need anything from us? CRA, anything
I think you've already given it to us. This is support, especially of our community and our children, and we hope that we get more businesses like yours. We do.
Absolutely.
negotiate with the casino, try to get the shows in there, try to get everybody to dress and entertain this year. Not an easy nothing.
Don't quit.
Thank you.
I'm not going to quit, and I want to go if you need me for anything. We have the artist. This was done by Marvel Comics.
Oh, they're good.
That's who did the Gangrel drawing. It was done live.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Anything you need for art, we have the artist now under contract. The three of them are Marvel that are doing the work for us.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
have to pay all that money.
You're welcome.
Administrative reports.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
I want to draw your attention to the administrative report that was printed and provided to you. Just a few highlights from that document. On February 5th, I attended a scoring meeting that occurred subsequent to an oral presentation given to Broward County for the Broward Redevelopment Program grant application that we submitted. And of the 10 projects that were submitted and presented, Dania Beach ranked number 2.
All right.
I'll take it.
And
Take it.
5 of the 10 met the minimum qualification to be awarded. So we have been recommended at the $1 million level, and an agenda item will be prepared for the April, they haven't given a date in April, but a meeting in April 2018 at the Board of County Commissioners. So I just wanted to keep you abreast of that. Also, the rebranding initiative. I've been meeting with Redline Media Group as well as city staff to finalize concepts, and there's an item later in today's agenda requesting a workshop so that we can organize how we're going to proceed. And city staff has been very cooperative in helping me identify what would need to be rebranded, getting an inventory of items, and I'll be putting together a budget proposal for the rebranding. On the parcels that the CRA approved that we request from the city, that conveyance will occur once corrective deeds have been re-executed and recorded at the county level, and so we're working through that. And you'll see that the art walk, number 7 on the list, initially I had anticipated wanting to have it during the spring months. And based on some factors, I think it would be best suited to occur after the Arts and Seafood celebration and have a summer series. And we'll be presenting an official plan and proposal for that event at the next meeting. I have done a request for written proposals for quotes to produce the event, and I'm evaluating those quotes at this time. Okay, moving on to our Arts and Seafood report, which is in your agenda book. I just want to highlight a few items here as well. At the time of printing, we had a total sponsorship commitment of $14,750. As of today, that number has increased by $2,500, so we're at $17,250. We have also reached out to several corporate sponsors. Some are listed there: Publix, Memorial Hospital, ASA College, and Kimco, and I've received some preliminary commitments from some of those organizations, as well as since the printing of this document, I've reached out to Home Depot and Michaels, and I'll be giving you an update as we move forward, and hopefully we'll get some additional corporate sponsors on board. For the entertainment, on page 2 of that document, you'll see that we have a lineup so far. We are entertaining the option of having additional bands, budget permitting. And as we look at sponsorships coming in, we may be able to make some adjustments that will allow for additional bands to participate. We will be allowed to use 600 parking spaces, courtesy of the Dania Beach Casino. We are planning to meet with Winn-Dixie to designate spaces specifically for the Arts and Seafood celebration. When I was at the motorcycle show, I got to see that parking is a major consideration, and I think that we have to have an official relationship with the Winn-Dixie Plaza to make sure that we have adequate parking for the event. And those are the highlights for Arts and Seafood. And I just wanted to, if I may, introduce Joe Artanis from Three Sons Brewing. He's here with us in the audience and actually executed his contract today for the food and beverage concessions at the event. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like him to just come and introduce himself and say a few words.
Hey everyone, Joe Art, good to meet you. Actually, Three Sons Brewing's been in the making to be here in Dania Beach for almost 4 years. Believe it or not, in the last 2 years we've actually been paying rent at a facility that we're building out up on 236 North Federal Highway. We're real excited to be part of the business community here. We chose Dania Beach because of its small, friendly, family atmosphere. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. It's kind of the cold place of friendly neighbors, but it's a small town, and when we looked at different locations, Fort Lauderdale and other parts of Florida, probably the best feel has been Dan was pretty instrumental because we went through zoning and tried to get these redone on the zoning part, and all the other people involved on the building side and permits and so on have been wonderful. So we've hung in there, and with all that said, we're excited to be part of the Arts and Seafood Festival. Our partners, we actually have multiple food and beverage facilities, so we're in that space. My partners, the two of my partners have very extensive experience in handling large events, very large events. We actually have one of our partners that are involved in some of the larger events out on the West Coast, and he'll be attending this meeting as well to make sure that we can make it as big an event as possible. So what we were looking to do, based on having some feedback from several of the existing vendors who were there and other people we spoke with, was to try to get more of that hometown feel where the food is as much local. We're going to be very aggressive in trying to arm twist some of the local Dania Beach restaurants. We've got some commitment of some vendors who will be there who haven't been at the Arts and Seafood Festival, which is exciting. And we want to try to keep things to, like, south in Hollywood area. There are a number of food vendors that are going to participate in that. So so we have the restaurateur kind of approach to make it a taste of as much Dania Beach as possible, with all of those restaurants from Dania Beach as well as from the south of us, Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale. There'll also be that we have on the site plan for here, and those food trucks will be primarily our focus is to have everybody doing seafood. It's a seafood festival. So in that, other differences, what we were looking to do is in recognizing the city budget for this event. So earlier in the year, I was approached by Dan Murphy. He said, "Hey, I think you can help us do this event, and maybe from a financial perspective, help as much as possible." And we're a startup company, so we really don't have tremendous resources to help, but we definitely have some ideas that we've brought to the table that we thought would help in terms of generating more revenue for the city. Part of that is last year, the other catering company, what they did is they basically charged everybody a certain amount and a percentage of their sales. So what we decided to do is we had suggested to have the same scenario. However, that 10% of the sales actually will go to the city, as opposed to the city not have gotten anything in the past, other than the initiation fee to take over the concession. So that's one of the things that we've agreed to do, is to provide 10% of the sales. Now, we're going to be able to monitor those sales via selling dollar tickets. So it's going to be a little more maybe cumbersome because, I want $40 worth of tickets, but that'll give us the accounting for accountability for these vendors to be able to provide, so we can say, hey, give us your tickets, here's what you get, so the city we can account for that 10% the city's going to get. I know we should be able to trust everybody, but sometimes, not everybody is the whole story. So we have that, and then we're going to, we're on the chef showcase, so we're taking a pretty nice approach to that. We have a chef for our operation. He's going to manage that. He's a culinary graduate, and several of the food vendors will be participating in the chef's showcase as well. So we're sponsoring the chef's showcase. We're taking over that expense in sponsorship on the chef's showcase that you guys basically paid for last year. We also are going to be involved in providing beverage for the VIP tent. So that'll be on courtesy, so no charge for the beer that's served at the VIP tent. And let's see, what else do we have? That's pretty much those are kind of the economics part of it. And we're excited. We believe there'll be a tremendous amount of people appreciating the vendors that'll be there and the quality of the food that'll be. We're going to try to make it more kind of crafty, both on the food side as well as you have the arts, but on the food and the beverage side.
There are a few questions. Board Member Grace?
I'm ecstatic, elated, all of those words that we are keeping this in-house Dania Beach. Some of the proposals that you have suggested to us, I think, are feasible. We actually, and I think some of the commission here had an opportunity months ago to go to the Amazing Gallery, where the Chamber of Hollywood and the City of Dania Beach, I believe Pat Chuckerman's group, had the function there where they had a taste of what was it, South Florida?
It was sort of like a taste of Hollywood or something like that.
Taste of Hollywood, and I like that flavor because we can incorporate Hollywood and Dania Beach at the same time. And they actually had over about 25 different restaurants that you actually went to their little tables and you sampled their foods, and it gave you a flavor of additional ethnic groups and foods, and it was something that I'm in favor of doing. I want us to definitely remember to keep it arts and seafood, because when I go to Las Olas with the Arts and Seafood Festival, that's what they gear to, and I think that it's doable for the city of Dania Beach. The 10%, for the city of Dania Beach, and we never had that before. We never actually made any monies before. I think that's a good option for us. But I also feel that we don't want to penalize or generate extra hardship for those local vendors that are going to be coming in, like they normally do, to showcase their restaurants and their flavors. So all of this is going to be a positive. This is for us. I know the residents of Dania Beach are elated that we're going to have the Arts and Seafood Festival because they enjoy it so much, and we hope that this will be a good partnership not only for you but for the city of Dania Beach. I appreciate.
Executive Director? No, okay. Board Member Brandon Marty?
Yeah. I don't know if it's too late to discuss this with you, but there's a new store restaurant that's doing phenomenal next to Koosh Jewelers. I mean, you can't even get a seat in there. Well, when I was in there finally the other day and was able to get a seat after 30 minutes, the guy questioned me about our Arts and Seafood Festival. He has the food truck, beautiful one, and he also would like to go into our Art and Seafood Festival. So I don't know if it's too late
Not
if you
too
meant
late.
that you got those trucks.
Is it
Yeah,
next
well-
to the hummus factory?
Yeah, it is the hummus factory,
Oh, it is the hummus
Mayor.
factory.
It is the hummus factory.
So there's no, having a little bit of control of who's going to be involved, it's Dania Beach businesses first, everybody else second. So at this point, we have multiple food trucks, but we haven't executed their contracts. We have 4 of them. There's still room for, 2 more food trucks. So I certainly would like
Yeah,
to take that name.
please look into it because it is a different ethnic, the way that my fellow commissioner brought up food. And obviously, everybody from Dania is going there. You just can't get in. So just thought I'd say that.
What I will say about the hummus factory and those establishments that are Jewish, they do honor Shabbat, and so on Saturday they will not come out because they close from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, but they probably will be interested in maybe a one-day vendor spot, maybe on a Sunday, because I believe they open on a Sunday as well. I wanted to address an issue that Board Member Grace was saying about the 10%. I don't even know how you're going to keep track of who gives the tickets back to you and say, oh yeah, I received X amount of tickets, to really give you a true number on.
Well, we're going to manage the tickets. So
I understand that, but you're going to manage the tickets. You're going to give the tickets to the consumers, correct?
the consumers purchase a ticket.
And then they will give it to me. Say if I have
You're a vendor, right?
and then you come to collect my tickets. How do you know how many tickets I have?
Well, if you want any money, you have to give me a ticket. So if you don't want any money, you could keep all the tickets.
Okay, so
I
they
have-
get paid.
I
by
have
how
a
many-
dollar. I have $1 from the public. You have a ticket worth $1.
Gotcha
You
now.
want
Okay.
your
I
money,
understand
you
that
have to
now.
give me the ticket. If you don't give me the ticket, okay, no
And can I-
ticket, no
No
surety.
Okay, and can I ask how expensive or what is the cost of a vendor space?
Okay, so what we were doing on the vendor space, to have vendors locked in for the space, we're charging $750. Now, that isn't an expense directly to the vendor. What it is that $750 is offset by the amount of sales that are being done. So there's going to be 20%, like last year, it was 700. It was pretty much the same deal last year. It was $750 plus 20% of sales. So that's what the deal was last year. So what would happen is the $750 would be offset by the 20%. So if a vendor did $10,000 in sales, that would be $2,000 is 20% of 10,000. So that $750 would come off of that $2,000. It would be only paying the difference between the $750 and the $2,000. That's their fee to come in. And most of the restaurants that do events are pretty familiar with this type of a setup. So with the incentive for Dania Beach, we're actually, everybody else at $750, that's what the cost is. What that does is it guarantees the space. So let's say, you don't show up, well, that $750 is forfeited if you decide I'm not going to show up. And we as partners in this, lost revenue because that vendor didn't show up. So that 10% that would have came in to the city, basically that revenue's gone if they don't show up. So that $750 pretty much locks them in, or they lose. It's unrefundable. So in the incentive for Dania Beach is the fee for Dania Beach to come in, or the upfront is less than the $750. The upfront is $400. So that we expect that if whoever comes in, that they should sell at least $3,000 or $4,000 worth of food. If they do $4,000 worth of food, it'll be over 20% is over $400. If they do $2,000 or less, $400 is 20% of $2,000 in sales. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
You got me. You lost me towards the end. But my last question. So you have the 20% on top of the $750, and then they have to pay an additional 10% to the city.
No, that's
Okay.
10% is split.
It's taken.
Right.
Okay. It's 10-10.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're truly partnering in this venture, because the more money that the vendors can sell, the more people that come to the event, the more income it's going to generate for the city. And I think having the right vendors there with the right audiences, part of what we're requiring in our contract is for each of the different vendors to put in their social media, this is what's going on, Dania Beach, come to the event. We're looking for restaurants like the place you just mentioned, a food truck, where they have a following of people.
They definitely
People will
do.
come. So that's part of the marketing strategy. So the more people come, the more sales should be.
Okay. Executive Director.
I just wanted to clarify in case it wasn't said clearly. The deposit of $750 is essentially a credit toward the balance that they would owe for that 20% that they would owe. The $750 is coming out of that. Is that any better? The 20% that will be going to Three Sons, of that 20%, 10% will then come to the city. Okay.
So we're going on quantity, not on high prices.
Yes, and not
Right.
definitely not high
You're
prices.
banking on
And-
thousands of people, not on the fact that the food is $40 for 3 pieces
No,
of
and
fish.
actually,
All
we're
right, cool.
fixing the
We're cool.
prices to have, each vendor has to have something under $10. They have to have something under $10, and then they'll have a 10, a 15, and a 20. If they want to have a $50 plate or whatever, fine, but
Theirs.
under 10, 15, 20. So those,
I just hope they don't get 3 pieces of fish that's under $10 and say we're sold out.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Oh,
You
Well,
can't control
yeah,
that.
well, that's
I'm
what-
just thinking
No,
like
but
a
that's
business
what this,
person.
like, so if you paid $750 to put up, you know, in order for you to make
to make-
money on this or get your $750 back, you need to sell product. So it's an incentive for them to sell. They've got to come with some
They'll
food.
bring a lot of $10 dishes then, because the biggest complaint in the past years are the prices.
Yeah,
And that's why you see so many people out in that field with their own food.
yep,
And you're gonna see a lot of that.
yeah. that's
I
very
wish
good.
they couldn't do it, but they do.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you.
Well,
Thank
very
you,
good.
thank
Look
you.
forward to continuing
Welcome.
working with
Sounds
you.
good.
Thank you.
Next, we have the consent agenda. Do we have any polls?
Move the item.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Board Member Brandemart,
Yes.
Board Member Grace,
Yes.
Board Member Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris,
Yes.
Chairman James.
Yes.
Thank you.
Discussion and possible action, request for the information items to be added to CRA meetings, the agenda. Do we have any discussion with this?
I don't have any.
I don't either.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great. Rebranding workshop date.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I would like to move about the rebranding process in a transparent and expedient way. I think that there are several things that have to be addressed at the workshop if we are to move forward. Redline Media, although you have approved a logo, Redline Media has presented 3 concepts for how that logo can be utilized as far as marketing collateral. Most of that being in-house collateral, including business cards, memos, letterhead, that sort of thing. I think that we need to have a workshop so that you can look at these concepts and select which is your favorite version of how the logo will be used. We also should have a discussion about the brand statement, because the thing that I've found with discussions among city staff and members of the community is that perhaps we need to communicate better how the brand and the logo translates to what we feel the city is moving toward or where the city is going. So a brand statement should be connected to the logo, to the rebranding initiative, and at that workshop I'll have several brand statements drafted that we can work from so that we can have, a vision for how we want to communicate the rebrand. Also, we have to set priorities for how it will be implemented. So this may be a gradual process. Maybe we start with certain items and then we move into others, and that will be discussed there, as well as how the rebranding will be procured. So if there is signage that needs to be redone, will we go out to bid for that? Will we request quotes for that? And how will those procurement packages be identified and outlined? And lastly, I think we need to talk about the budget. So I'm going to be presenting an estimated budget for the different categories that need to be rebranded. So for example, city marketing collateral, that will be one package that has a budget. Signage for buildings, that's another thing. Decals for city vehicles, that's another package that has a budget associated. So I want to present all of those things to you and have a discussion so we can identify the resources that will be needed and prioritize which items will be rebranded first, second, third, whether it will be this fiscal year for some of them or next fiscal year for some of them. In addition, I think that we would need to do a resolution in order to officially adopt the new logo and brand statement, as well as the brand standards that would go with the logo and the concepts that will be selected. So that needs to be formally adopted via resolution.
Board Member Grandrade?
Yeah. I want to understand this perfectly. We didn't hire Redline.
We're not paying them a dime.
all right?
That's correct.
My question to you is this then. When you were talking about priorities on branding, how could we look into budget and monies without knowing what we're looking at? Because it will end up going out to bid if it's a certain dollar. That's it first. And second of all, when we were talking about like the branding, the picture would be on different items, wouldn't we be better off if we went into that phase first, sold those things and made money to help support the rest of it?
I think that those points are valid and need to be ironed out via workshop. My plan is to identify what needs to be procured so that we can say, okay, this will be the projected cost for that. And then we can identify funding sources for those items. And so let's say street signage costs $200,000. Maybe that's something that you want to do for the next fiscal year. Maybe the in-house marketing collateral, maybe that doesn't cost but $20,000. Maybe that's something that we can identify a funding source for right now, and we could do that this fiscal year. So that's what I want to talk about at the workshop.
Again, what I'm saying, if you have a platform to start to work on to see what their figures are versus another company where we could get the same thing and a lot cheaper, because I still don't understand the monies we're talking about, and I doubt anyone up here does because they don't know the monies either.
So the work that Redline Media has done is just for developing the logo and the concepts. Anything that would come after that, let's say printing of business cards, we would take the logo and the concept that was already developed by Redline, and we would go out to bid, or we would get quotes so we can see who could provide that to us at the best price.
Okay.
In addition, we have some existing vendors with the city. For example, those that do our T-shirts. Perhaps we could just send them our new logo and get the cost for how much it would be to produce that, and they're already, an in-house vendor. So we could have multiple approaches to this. So that's what I want to break down in the workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Grace?
I understand what fellow board member is saying. It's just like having a family reunion each year. We have 21 states that I have to send out literature to. But before I can give them a price as to how much it's going to cost for them to attend the reunion every year, I need to let them know what platform I have in place that we're going to be able to defray the costs with T-shirts, with mugs, with keychains, with different souvenirs. So once we send that information out to the 21 states and give them option A, B, and C
Right.
as to which one they want to do, and it comes back to us, then as we have all of the shirts
Figures.
and everything else and the figures what it's going to cost, then I can send them itinerary letting them know that it will cost each family member this amount of money to attend the family reunion, fair to what state we're going to have it in. So it really makes sense what she's saying, because if I'm reaching out to 21 states and I'm reaching out to almost 1,100 people for a reunion, some of them got 10 people in the family, some got 2.
Not yours.
I got to be able to offset and let them know what's going on.
She explained it much better than me, but that's it. You did a good job.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I think we're all saying the same thing, essentially, and that I think we just need to get in a room, and I'll
Workshop
present
is
you
good.
with what I have as far as cost estimates, and then we can take it from there, I think.
Chairperson, do you have some dates for us?
Actually, I do.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, I have February 21st,
Time?
anytime.
Wait a minute.
Any issues with February 21st? Any restrictions with time?
The chamber is not available, and neither is the conference room.
I don't,
I
At
have my
night.
meeting with the casino that day, but that's 11:30.
Okay.
Neither.
the 21st is on
Conference
a,
room.
Wednesday.
Bob.
So the 21st is out.
no,
No,
that's,
it ain't out.
yeah, it is, because
yeah?
that's my Dania Beach Men and Women's Club luncheon also, and
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be tied up. Okay.
I can make myself available
Okay,
for the, the time
Well, keep going.
that
What
that
else?
works
Let's get another
best.
one.
March 2nd.
March 2nd is my anniversary, definitely not gonna do that.
Wait a minute.
You don't have any
I'm
other
going
dates
to her
before
party,
that?
So
We could.
Do you
look
have the
at-
20th available?
that's a Friday.
No? Okay. Let's go to the 22nd, no? If it's midday? No.
No.
What's the last one?
I have also the 26th
You can't get out of February, huh?
26th of March?
of
26th
February.
of February.
Of February? No. Oh. Wait a minute.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for me.
Okay.
Board Member Brandon Marty, you have issues with the 26th?
What time's she talking about?
What time are you available?
I would like to start in the morning, if possible, 9 a.m.
What do you
After
mean by
tea.
I like to start in the morning? You think we're staying here
I'm
all
good.
day?
8 o'clock.
Not those that don't have dollars.
10 a.m.
6 what?
6
10
a.m.?
10 a.m.'s fine.
What's wrong with you?
He means it.
So is 10 a.m. okay with everyone?
11?
11. Well, we're going
And
to have
then we
lunch
can have
then?
lunch, yeah, 11.
Okay.
Who's
Okay,
buying?
give me a chance to get up.
You're
You
buying?
guys are killing my day.
Not you, Mayor. She said she's buying.
The,
11?
The CRA will work it out.
That means bubble gum and some water, and we're going to be all right. So the 26th at 11. Any objections? Okay, great. I just asked that no one use the brand before we roll it out as a commission.
What?
What?
Like citywide, staff-wide, that no one uses the brand before we roll it out together
Right,
as a team.
I like that.
Would somebody do that?
Yes.
That's not right. They're not working with us then.
Well, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
All right.
TEAM. So will you please send a reminder?
Yeah, I'm not going to commit to that date, though. Not yet. I can commit after the end of the week. Then I'll be able to.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. But it's not scheduled yet.
All right?
Thank you.
See, Bobby?
All right. So if that date doesn't work out, then we'll work another date out. All right. Board member comments. Board member Salvino.
I'm good, thank you.
Board member Grace.
I am very pleased with what we're hearing here at the CRA board meeting. Things are being rational thought out. I cannot wait until we get to some of the new things that's going to be happening in the city of Dania Beach. I think the Arts and Seafood Festival will have a different flavor this year, which we've all been talking about. I'm glad that you're working it out with the casino, and also hopefully you'll be able to work it out with the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza for the parking, because that is one of our major issues. And I would like for us to please keep the concept of having those potties away from the food. To me, that is definitely a no-no, and make sure that we have enough staff there to make sure that things are being picked up properly. That's it.
Board member Salvino.
Thank you, Mayor.
Did I
Chair-
overdo you?
No, I just had a question on the CRA parking. Is there going to be a charge from the casino?
No, there will not be a charge for parking.
Okay, thanks.
Board member Brandon Marty.
If we make a profit on this seafood festival, it will be something none of us up here has ever seen. And if he does the way he says, and like the mayor suggested, get those $10 dishes, I think we got a chance of making a profit. So he seems like he's on the right road, but I hope he does look into that factory, and he also should look into Jimbo's to support us, because Jimbo's loves this commission and the city of Dania Beach, and he also would be a type of a sponsor for this. That's all. Thank you.
Vice Chair?
No comments.
What's the matter with you tonight?
We heard you. And no comments for me either. So see you all at 7. Oh, goodness, we had a lot of time. Meeting adjourned.